So what we have discussed last class about OOPS, I will repeat it again once more. Um, uh, we discussed that generation wise, we are in third generation of the programming language. In first generation, um, people were using procedural oriented concept. Last programming language was C language, where first generation got over, and C++ onwards second generation started. In second generation, they used something called class, something called object, something called grouping together data and functionality. That is called object oriented concept because we provided security level, and the security level completely dependent upon the instance of that class or the grouping system hide all these members like XY display name, for example, you have taken from the outside world. That means a single word, if you want to express it, you can say encapsulation. Okay. Capsulating data and member functions together inside a group called class is encapsulation. Enabling encapsulation. So that gave one small step towards what you say object oriented programming concept. Um, then they started using for a couple of years, and so then they thought what's new can be invented in the object oriented concept. Then they thought something called authorization. I used one word called authorization. So C++ was not capable enough to provide that level of security called authorization. Authorization means no doubt we have divided the work. Admin will get that 7 work, manager will get this 5 work, supervisor will get that 3 work. All those work we divided into various classes. Absolutely fine. But problem is authorization means it's not like independently just doing the work for various people. Authorization means if there are 5 work also, can I say this guy is authorized for 3 work, that guy is authorized for 4 work, like that, even though all of those work are available inside the same grouping or same class. If you remember, I gave the example, all are managers only, but one guy is assistant manager, one guy is general manager, one guy is regional manager, one guy is a deputy manager. So this kind of things also may happen. So in such case, C++ was not capable of providing that level of security. Definitely comparing to C language, C++ is secure, but they invented some new things like interface, abstract class. You know, we will go in detail later in respective chapters, but as a whole, we understood that something new they invented. We don't need to bother at the beginning what new things, but something new they invented so that the generation of the programming language become third generation programming language from the second generation programming language. That means such a feature they provided named as abstraction, used mostly for authorization purpose, and that drastically changed the generation of the language as third generation called advanced object oriented programming concept. Okay. So like these 3 generation came, and currently we are in third generation. So going forward, we don't need to much bother about C language or C++ language. We need to much bother about C# language. That means what additional concepts available in addition to the previous concept. That means if C++ is giving three features, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism, then C sharp is giving four features majorly: encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, as well as abstraction. So let me write that also here. In second generation, C++ was offering three major features. One is encapsulation, one is inheritance, one is polymorphism. No doubt we are going to learn all these in C sharp as well, because what C++ was offering, C sharp is also offering that definitely. But additionally, C sharp is offering one more feature called abstraction. So I will say that here also I will mention that. Additionally, Java onwards, because first third generation programming language was Java. So Java onwards, when I say Java onwards, C sharp also includes in this, including C sharp, Python, etc. So additionally, Java onwards, advanced languages provided a new feature called abstraction. After abstraction, abstraction is the name of the feature, guys. But what additional component they brought up in this abstraction is interface and abstract class. We will see one by one these things. So whatever I'm mentioning here, each point is one chapter. Encapsulation is a chapter, inheritance is a chapter, polymorphism is a chapter, abstraction is a chapter. So in-depth story we will be learning there. But today, just an overview of all the object-oriented concept in one go in a 2 minutes. So that is encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. So after abstraction, the programming language said to be in third generation and named as advanced object oriented programming language. Named as advanced object oriented programming system or OOPS language. So now we are in C sharp, so we need not to bother much about past things. Just we have to keep the target that for us there are four features to understand: encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, definitely, because that is also offered by C++. Advanced step which is taken as abstraction, that also we have to learn. So if somebody asks what are major features of C sharp, then what we will say? Four, obviously, because what C++ was offering, definitely it will be there. Otherwise, what is the use? Definitely will be there, but additionally, abstraction. Additionally, abstraction came into picture. So this is what we say as introduction before proceeding to its concept. Now let's first understand encapsulation. That means as long as you are learning encapsulation, you can say you are learning C++ also, C sharp also, Java also, every programming language, whether it is new or old, definitely encapsulation is offered by it. So we'll go to Visual Studio now. It's a fully practical topic, guys. So only concept is not enough, or only practical is not enough. You have to understand the concept and you have to implement it also. So what we understood from encapsulation is, instead of keeping data and functionality simply floating outside and all globally accessible, we have to make it locally accessible. Whenever required, globally also accessible. That means grouping together data and functionalities. So project name I will give here oops underscore encapsulation, because very first feature in oops concept is encapsulation. Save it in your folder. Okay, so again, let's repeat that statement. Can I see? First line, feature one. Last class we discussed. Encapsulation is nothing but the data and function hiding. So inside one grouping called class, we are going to keep those data and functionality. Here I said X and Y, but today let's take one kind of real-time example. Like I want to keep some information about employee. Okay, instead of salesman, I will give the name as employee, because I want to store the data for employee. I want to display the data for employee and so on. So encapsulation will give the heading. Or what I will do is, I will prepare a separate notepad. So each feature in a different notepad. So I will name it as encapsulation itself. All right. So encapsulation says the definition is encapsulating. That's why the encapsulation. Capsulating means grouping together. So capsulating data and functionalities together in a group to hide or secure it from outside world. Okay, is encapsulation. This is the conceptual definition. Why should we go for oops concept? Why should we go for encapsulation? So grouping together data and functionality to hide it from the outside world. Outside world means, like I gave the example, if manager needs that operation, why security guard also will call that operation? That is where we are. That means we are in C++ level or C# level or Java level, whichever you say. But at least not C or before level. So C or before means it is called procedural oriented language level. So very first feature in object oriented programming language level is encapsulation. So capsulating together means grouping together. So either you write capsulating or you write grouping data and functionality together in a single group, or secure group, you can say. So how to do that? As of now, we are not bother about all those things. Now we have to bother. Now I will say my functionality is called display employee detail. My data is called employee ID, employee name, etc. I want to keep them inside a class called employee only. I don't want to give the access of them in some other area called manufacturing, or some other area called vendor management. I want my employee should be secure inside my class called employee. So the capsulation part or grouping part, what I said, that is nothing but a class. Okay, so I named the grouping name as class. That means employee. Employee is my group name or class name, whatever you say. Inside this group called employee or class called employee, I want to keep couple of things like integer employee ID. Then I want to keep maybe string employee name. Maybe I want to keep his salary. Make sense? I want these three information should be securely kept inside the employee grouping. So that if tomorrow there is another class called vendor, vendor should not come and suddenly say, I will modify the salary of the employee. It should not be like that. So vendor is totally out of our company. That is, if my company name is ABC Limited, maybe vendor is XYZ Limited. So why should I give employee ID, employee name, salary, this accessibility to that vendor? His functionality is about supplying the material. Okay, I will say, fine, you have product ID because you have to supply some product to me. Integer product ID is for you. You don't need to bother about salary of our employee. You should be bothered about which product you have to send or what name of the product. Make sense? This is called grouping system. This time I grouped the data as per the requirement. I can say quantity also. So integer product quantity. Makes sense? Because these are all some information which my vendor is supposed to use. But these are some information which my employee is supposed to use. Then comes functionality. Employee wants to display the employee detail, or employee wants to enter the employee detail. That is called functionality. Okay. So I can say void, accept employee data. Means ask user to enter employee data. Makes sense? Because this is something related to employee. So why should I keep this inside called vendor? Tell me. Why should I keep inside something called vendor? It is not at all his functionality. But as of now, we are not thinking much because we are not following up object-oriented technique. When I say as of now, you just go to C, Fortran, Basic, COBOL, Pascal, that generation. So in C language, nobody says there is a grouping for employee, there is a grouping for vendor, etc. They will say, hey, 50 functionality is there, 100 data is there. Anybody come, any functionality you use, any data you use. That is what C or before. But now C++ onwards, at least this feature came that you can group together for a security level, for a good reason. Obviously, each and every work that we are going to do in OOPS concept definitely related to security, data security, functionality security, something related to security definitely. Okay, if in a single word, if somebody says entire OOPS concept, you explain in a single word, then you have to say security or data security. Okay, so security level we want, that's why you are using OOPS concept. If you don't want any security level, security guard, clerical level, manager level, admin level, anybody is coming, everybody will use the functionality what we have defined. Then why should you go for all this complication? So people wanted calculation, we got it. Data entry, we got it. Saving the data in the hard disk, that also we got it. Now what extra? Maybe 30-35 years back, you can say. Then they thought, let's go for something called security. That's it. So they thought, let's first group together. Like when you have a building, you don't have a boundary, and if your family members want some security, then the quickly what you think is, let's put a boundary to our building, isn't it? Same thing we are doing here. When we are putting the boundary to your building, do you keep your neighbor's house also inside that boundary? No. You said, hey, it is your home. This is my home. I want to put boundary in my home. You put boundary in your home. Because he is your neighbor, you don't want to keep his building in your boundary. Similarly, when C sharp was there, you can say these are all not there. This boundary and all was not there. Everything is like a colony, you can say. But when C sharp came, C++ came, they thought about at least this boundary called class. So they divided as per the functionality and as per the operation. Vendor related to different operations. So they thought, why not vendor related all the data, all the functionality, we'll keep it in separate area called class vendor. So here, employee ID, employee name and salary, as well as related to employee, some of the functionality I want to keep. Inside this what coding, currently we are not thinking much about it. Some coding will be there. We know how to write coding. Console.writeLine, console.readline, if condition, else condition, loop, etc. Whatever required, we know. We are not much bother about currently about coding. Coding we will write. Console.writeLine, enter the employee ID, console.readline, console.writeLine, employee name, etc. That we will write, no problem. But first, we are segregating our groups as per the operational functionality. So employee related all functionality, I will keep it here. One is called accept employee data. One is called display employee data. Makes sense? That is called security. So then what I did, I kept here also one functionality called accept vendor data or accept product data or product information. What product vendor has to send, etc. Or you can name it as vendor product information. Always function name should be little useful name, right? I will say display vendor information. So here, just for your understanding, I'm writing here some coding is available. That's it. Because part coding, time will only say whether any calculation required or console.readline required. Some coding. We don't bother about that. Some coding. First, let's focus about security part. So can I say these three data and these two functionality is highly secure inside vendor? Easy. Can I say these two functionality and these three information is highly secured inside employee? At least we made grouping of them. Then imagine somewhere here your main is available. Main means your program class, right? Where your main function is available. As of now, we are not bothering about this kind of classes, right? Because we are only working in the program class. So somewhere here main is available, main function, where your compiler is coming first. I'm writing only skeletal structure, so just putting dot dot dot. Inside main also something is there. I don't bother. Okay, so just skeletal structure to understand the things. I can say this is another class. What is that? Entire program is having three classes, I can say. Easy. Now, main is the area where your compiler is coming like this, and here only it is exiting, right? If I will not use these functions here, then your compiler also cannot execute this function. Don't you think so? Because compiler doesn't know anything. He says, I will come to main. Inside main, if you are calling those functions, I'm good to execute them. If you forgot to call them, I will not execute them. So now you tell me, as of now, we are calling the functions like this, right? If you remember. Now we will not be able to call like this anymore. Now some restriction came into picture. Why? Because previously that function was available here only, no? Inside this class only, no? Below here somewhere. If you remember, all those functions we are writing here only because there is nothing called class. Only program class as of now from the day one of our course till yesterday or last class. Only we are bothering about one single class. All functions were available inside that class only. But now, for a security reason, we divided various functions into various classes. Now you have to understand how to call this functionality. Two things first you have to understand here. One is there is a keyword called public. There is a keyword called public. If you want to give a public word to this function, first I will make you understand in this notepad, then we will go to the Visual Studio because conceptual understanding is very important. Programming, no problem, we will do it. Two things I said are going to learn at the very beginning. One is public word. More words is there, private, internal, protected, etc. But we don't go to jump to there directly. Let's first learn one by one. First, let's understand what is the use of this public word. In one function, I'm putting public word. In another function, I'm not putting public word. Okay. So whenever you don't put a public word in a function, it will understand it as a private actually for your information. Whether you type your private or you simply leave it like this, it will understand it is a private function for this class, and it will understand it is a public function for this class. What do you mean? Just I gave you your building example, right? Inside your building, you you have your own furniture, right? Inside your building, inside your study room or your dining room, you have your own furniture. Does any public people come and sit there who are going on the road? No, right? Because those furnitures, chair, table, whatever you use inside your building, that is completely privately used by you only. By default, by default, all your furnitures are privately used by your family members only. That means that boundary is nothing but your building, you can say, and that building is having some furnitures or so. Your members only using it, absolutely. But imagine out of some 10 different furniture, you are a social worker and you said that two furniture I want to use for public use also. Yeah. Nearby one building, I want to put those furnitures and somebody waiting for something they can use that furniture as well. So that particular furniture, what you want to make it for public use, you created it, no problem. But you are putting it outside your building so that other people can use it as a public furniture. How there the difference is? You kept your chair inside your study room, that become a private chair for you, and you put that chair in outside your building somewhere in the public place, maybe in a garden. Then you say that is my chair, no problem, but that I made it for public use. Similarly, here also there are two ways we can define the data and functionality. One is highly secure. Nobody should use outside the class. Whenever I say class, quickly you take it in your mind that building. Inside my building, I have a chair. Same thing. Inside my class, I have a functionality. The moment you put this public, even though physically it is available here inside employee class, but it is getting a permission to be used by other classes also. Not only program class, but also vendor class. Let me tell you that. Then you will ask me a question. Can you help me? Sir, this will be used by program class, but should not be used by vendor class. That is called next level, next chapter inheritance. But let's focus at the beginning. Should I use only inside or should I use it inside as well as outside? Okay. So if you use public word, that means you are saying it can be used inside as well as can be used outside. Outside, when you say this time two classes, one is program class, one is vendor class. So OOPS concept starts with grouping together and making those things public, which by the way you want to use outside as well. You cannot say always everything is private for me, right? If it is so, then it becomes like three programs. Rather, why not don't you create three different program? Why inside the same program you made these classes? If that is the case, nobody should use any other's functionality. Nobody should use any other's data. That is not the case. I made it grouping for security level. That's fine, but it doesn't mean that none of the function I will give permission to other. So program is of course a class. So program wants to call all the functionalities. So whichever functionality it wants to call, I can make it as at least public. So I made public to accept employee data. I made public to accept employee data because I want to call it inside program class. But I don't want to call that function called display employee data inside this program class. That's why I made it private. Either I will write it private or I will not write anything, that is also private. Okay. So first let's focus about particularly this concept. Step by step we will go for better understanding. Oops concept is very sensitive concept, guys. If systematically if you will not go, it will be a problem. You will confuse a lot. So first thing we saw C versus C++. C was saying 100 data, 50 function, 60 function, everything floating around as a global functionality, global data. Nothing concept called class at all. No boundary, nothing. If higher member also coming to the program, he is also using all 50 to 50 functions. If a lower person like clerical grade, accountant grade or security guard is coming, he is also using 50 to 50 functions. So what is the use of this program? No security, only functionality, calculation is possible, but security is not possible. Then they thought C++. In C++, they said, let's have the class concept called grouping. And that concept is continuing still in Java as well as C#. That means today what we are learning, it is also available in C++. Okay. Nothing new in C#, it is also available in C++. So let's have a small program like this. Here I used only skeletal structure. That's why coding means only coding I wrote. Let's use real coding, real program with at least one class called program and one class called employee. More than one class, 2-3 classes we will see. Just for understanding, I wrote two classes, vendor and employee, but at least one additional class called employee. Let's start a program in Visual Studio. So here you can see class program is already available. Just press enter here and say class employee. If necessary, vendor class also you can do here like this, class vendor. To understand how to use a class, how to use function inside class, how to use variable inside class, let's plan only one class additional apart from program class. You can see where I press enter in this curly bracket. Why not in this curly bracket I press enter and start a class here? Because boundary of this class is ending here, not here. That you must be understanding, I think so. Where your open bracket is starting, where your close bracket is closing. I want two classes in the same namespace, not key one class inside another class. So class 1 is program, class 2 is employee. That's why I press enter here. Right? So employee, and inside this employee, we are planning to have something like employee ID. We can copy paste this there, no problem. Only that coding coding will delete it and will write real coding something. Otherwise, we can copy paste that skeletal structure as well. Make sense? So can I say my class name is employee? Okay. So this is our class named as employee. We made it just to group information as well as functionality related to employee. These three things are called data member, and these functions are called function member or member functions. The moment inside this boundary, these all came, they are named as member. We say family member, right? Inside our house, whoever is staying inside our building, we say family member. Similarly, they say it as a member of the class. Class is employee, they are all member of that class. This is data member and this is function member. Okay, now let's have some coding here. Accept means what? Asking user to enter the data. So I will say console.writeLine. Same thing, coding part you know already. So enter employee ID and you say employee ID equal to console.readline. These are all nothing new. You know already how to accept the data. Similarly, you can accept, let's take things to make it simple. So I will say console.writeLine, enter your name, and I will say name equal to emp name equal to console.readline. When we say functionality, it is operation. What operation this function is doing? Asking user to enter the data. That's it. What operation this function is doing? It is saying, dear user, your name is so and so, your employee ID is so and so. So console.writeLine. This is for displaying the data. So your name is 0 and your employee ID is 1. Emp name, emp ID. So inside what we are writing the coding, it will time only will say that functionality. This functionality could have been calculate salary, then perhaps it could have been total salary equal to basic plus HRA plus DA plus TA minus income tax, etc. Then console.write line total salary equal to so and so. Totally it depends upon what coding we need to write for functionality. But only here we have to mark is public has been mentioned here and public has not been mentioned here. That is important thing here to look at. One member is public member, one member is private member. Either you write it private or don't write, both are same. That means this chair, you kept it for public people use. This chair, you kept it inside your building for your private members only inside the family to use. Take it that way. That means I should get a chance to call this function here in program class. No doubt I cannot get a chance to call this function because this is only for our family members. This is for public members. That's why I made here public and I made here private. Now question arises, how can I call this function here? Is it because I made it public directly can I call it? Answer is no. You cannot call it anymore because this is not a member of that family, program family. So can I say here two family are available? One is employee family, one is program family. So this function, even though it is public, directly you cannot call it in another class. So let me write here whatever I am explaining you so that you will not miss it. So this time we are talking about access modifier public versus private. There are two more also available, internal and protected, but suddenly we will not jump to that. Let's slowly we will go. Public says, definition wise, public says can be accessed inside the same class as well as in other classes. How to call, we will see practically, no problem. But can be. But private says can only be accessed inside same class. Because obviously, as long as you are not accessing, what is the use of that program? As long as compiler is not getting a chance to execute, right? That's why we are learning about access modifier. This topic itself is called access modifier, private, public, etc. So that means somehow we are using instance of this class. Instance means allocation of the memory to this class. So what I will do, I will create one instance. Let's see. Here you saw directly you cannot call, so I'm deleting it. Now I'm telling you how to call something called instance. Instance of the class means allocating memory of the class to one kind of variable, you can say. So how to do? Employee, whatever kind of variable I said, that is called object actually in technical terminology. So I will name it as obj. Okay, obj employee, obj emp equal to new employee. If you remember, when we discussed about array some 2 to 3 chapters back, 2 to 3 days back, I told whenever in future in C#, new keyword will come, simply understand the as allocation of memory. So now also we are doing similar thing, just like we did it in array. We are creating one kind of variable, not variable, we will say kind of variable. Because if it is integer or string, then only we will say it is a variable. It is not integer or string or character, right? It is employee. So we will say it is kind of variable. In other words, we say it as object actually. Equal to new employee. Means indirect meaning of this line is allocate all members of, allocate memory to all members of employee class into obj emp. That means suddenly what will happen, it will go to random access memory. Let me open that excel sheet for better clarification, because one time if it went into your brain, it will be staying this concept for long time. One time you didn't understand properly, you are gone. So imagine this much memory is already occupied. Imagine this much memory is already occupied. Now space is available somewhere here. The moment this line will be executed, line number 9, what will happen? Left side part will understand name of the object. That means somewhere it will go, whatever memory is free, it will decide, acha, okay, obj emp will be starting from here. That is what it understood. If I will simply delete this right side part and I'll put a semicolon, this is not an error. It is one warning. Can you see green color underline? Red color underline means error. Green color underline means just one warning saying that, hey, dear developer, you declared your name, but you didn't use it. You didn't allocate memory. You didn't, initialize anything. What's the matter? Are you forgetting something? That is kind of warning. But the moment I did this, right side, that means I said not only name of the allocation unit is decided, but also memory allocation done. New means always memory allocation. It says please create one name called objemp inside random access memory. There you allocate the memory for my all members. So here I am creating one kind of different color just to make you understand. I will take this color. So inside this area, new keyword means inside that area, it will allocate all the members of this, class, but with some special feature also. What it will do, it will say no problem, emp id, emp name will be kept. Similarly, accept data, what name have given? Accept employee data, display employee data also will be allocated here. I'm telling you what is happening inside the memory. Assume that this area is memory. Okay. So it says that two data and two function I allocated inside this random access memory in a small location called objmp. Absolutely fine. But here, not only this, it will keep one significance, keep one feature that these two are private. This is also private because developer has not explicitly mentioned as public. So that means it is private. This is also private. So three are private, only one is public. It will also keep this information inside it. Not only just allocate the memory, but also it will keep this kind of information inside it. What will happen using this object while I'm calling those members, because as I said, private members cannot be called. So what do? You use that object called objemp. Then try to call them. How to call them? By putting a dot. You will see those things having public word, only that will be accessible here. Can you see? Accept employee data is accessible here. I'm perfectly fine. I can access that. That means I can ask user to enter the data. But if I will try also this display employee data, I cannot call that. Let's try obj emp dot display employee data. Let's try it. See what happens. One red color underline came, right? Inaccessible due to its protection level. That is the meaning. It is saying, hey, there is a protection level applied to this functionality. How can you call that? You are not permitted to call that. But the moment I will go here and make public, now you see, it will say most welcome. Not only you can ask user to enter the data, but also you can display the data. Now question arises, by chance it is private. By chance it is private. Is there any way I will call indirectly? Directly, of course, I cannot call, right? So I will comment this and write here for you. Directly, we cannot call this function because private keyword is used to protect this function from outside world. So that means in C language, we were not having any such facility. Now in C++ or C Sharp, we started using this facility. When necessary, give the access. When necessary, don't give the access. At least this is one step better than C language. Don't you think so? We have both the facility with us. If I want both the functions, I will make public and public. If I want one function should be accessed, another should not be, I can make public and private. I want both the function, nothing should be accessed. This is purely for employee. No problem. I will make it private and private. Okay. So whether you are mentioning private or not mentioning private, both are same. So one function I made public, one function I made private intentionally, just to contrast it, how our encapsulation is facilitating slowly, giving the freedom, if necessary apply security, if necessary don't apply security. So public says, just like any other public functionality like C language, I gave the functionality to be accessed, but yes, of course through object, because object is the one which is having allocated memory for those functions. So object will help us to call those functions now. Now I said indirectly I want to call this function, not directly. I want to keep it secret only, private only, but indirectly I want to call it in the main. Then what you have to do is, you directly call this function. Which one? Accept employee data. Let it come here. Let it execute from top to bottom, like 23, 24, 25, 26 line number, 27 line number. Let it complete. After that only I want to display, right? So press enter here and call this function here. Because no doubt I protected this from outside world. No doubt I protected it from outside world, so that directly somebody cannot call this functionality. But if by chance required, I don't want to make it public, but I want, especially in this case, main should call it, because indirectly I want to display those information. Then this is the provision. Inside the same class function, you call this functionality. So can you see here? I'm calling the functionality and it is not showing any red color underline. Why? Because this function and this function both are in the same family member. Both are in the same family. They are two members of the family, you can say, employee family. So program is not able to directly call, that's absolutely fine. But when he is calling to accept employee data, after accepting all those information, I want to display using this. So indirectly, I can be able to call here. Right? So let's try first this label, private versus public label, whether we are able to do it. Then we will go to additional knowledge step by step. So after executing, then I will allow to ask the question, because maximum question mark will be automatically clarified, and I will put a breakpoint and execute it. So I'm putting a breakpoint here. I say if I'll run the program, the very first line it will execute is line number 9, isn't it? After that only it will come to this line number 17, 18, etc. First line is main line always. Inside main function, whatever first line, that will be executed at the first. So I put a breakpoint there. Make sense? Now let's debug it. Understand what exactly compiler is doing. So first it will come and stop there for me. It will say, hey, I came here. Tell me what to do. Then I will say F10, means go to next level. Now before pressing F10, check this objemp. Can you see here? Null, null, null. What do you mean? Memory has not been allocated. Meaning is that memory has not been allocated. That's why it is null. Null, null means nothing. I will press F10 now. Now that null must have gone. Have a look. It is informing me I have already allocated employee members. Data, your memory allocation done. Data is not there, that is different story, but memory allocation done. Why data will not be there? Because data I am getting in next line, right? Accept employee data. I'm asking user, hey, enter the employee ID, enter the employee name, but I have not come yet here. Line number 23, 24, 25. So it will say, no doubt data is not there. You can see 0 and null, but allocation of the memory is done. Then you will say, okay, no problem. Now it is time to enter the data. F10 is for jumping from one line to another, right? But this time I don't want to jump from one line to another. Rather, I want to go to definition of the function. So I have to press F11. So F11 will take me from line number 10 to line number 19, 19, 20, 21, all those. Okay, this area. Because actually my function name is accept employee data, and accept employee data starting from line number 21. Can you see? So it will suddenly jump to line number 21. So I'm pressing F11 and it will suddenly go to line number 21 or 22. So curly bracket, can you see? After line number 21, one curly bracket is there in line number 22. So it jumped there. So always debugging means not F10. F10 means go to next line. F11 means go to definition of the function wherever it is. So it came to line number 22 and then F10, 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 because this time I want to go to next line, next line, next line. So it asked me employee ID. I said 45 is my employee ID. It asked me name. I entered my name. It asked me, can you see here? Line number 29 is calling one more function. This is not external function. This is internal function. That's why object is not required. No, from day one of our course till last class, did you use any object? No, right? Why so? Because all the functions are in same family, same class. So here also display employee data, accept employee data, both are in the same class. So why should I use object here? I can internally call it without using object. But when you are used by anybody using outside this class, first thing is accessible is there or not. Second thing, if accessibility is there, create the object and call it. But this time don't no need for any object. Like obj employee or something, I didn't use. Directly I called. So if I want to go to line number 35, should I press F10 or should I press F11? I should press F11 because F10 will take me to line number 31. F11 will take me to line number 35. So F11, that means go to definition of the function. As of now, we have already entered both the information. Can you see 45 and name as Kumar. So now here I came and said display those data which just now I entered. Just now I entered these two things. So it says your name is so and so, your employee ID is so and so. Absolutely fine. Now it will come back to, if I'll press F10 again, it will come back to line number 29. Where it went from, it came back to that line. Then F10 again, it came back to line number 31. F10 again, it will come back to line number 10, because from here only it started its jumping to the employee class, right? Then F10 again, it will say, I finished your program. Check it out whether you are satisfied with the output. Okay. So what is the news we saw now? New we saw is what data, what function my program class is calling. That data, that function is not a really part of this class. If that is the case, then you need something called object. So to access the functionality, you need object. Use the data, ultimately you need functionality. That means, can I say indirectly, my entire program execution is depending upon object. If this line number 9 itself I will delete, nothing will happen. Not even accept the data, not even display the data, not even calculating anything, nothing, because complete execution of the program is dependent upon object, because we divided our data and functionality into more than one class. So now if I will tell you the definition of object, you can easily understand. Object is instance of a class that allows to execute non-private members of that class. Let me write it here, then you ask yourself whether you are understanding or not. So what is the definition of object now? Because object oriented programming, so obviously we should know what is object all about. I'm not talking about object data type, guys. Capital O object I'm saying. English word object, not data type. It's a it's an instance of a class, okay, used to allocate memory to all its members, and also provides access to non-private. Why say non-private? Because private is private, it cannot be accessed. So also provides access to non-private members to outside world. When I say outside world, it is other class. Read the line and try to understand what it is trying to say. It's an instance of a class. I will tell you what is the that instance word all about. Suppose you went to library today. You are not really a member of that library. Okay? You ask for a book. Did they give you a book? No, right? They say, where is your library card? So that time you say that library card is like one instance for you to prove that you are a member of that library. Similarly, when I say instance means this object, it is one identification that yes, I can have access to this employee class. So that's why we use the word called instance. Your library card is one instance to offer you the book. Similarly, your object is like one instance to access the employee class members. That's why always we will be using this word instance. Instance means identification, you can say. It's an identification of a class used to allocate the memory. Like your library card is green color, My library card is red color. Green color is for engineering books. Red color is for medical books, suppose. So just by seeing that library card itself, that guy understood that okay, medical books is accessible to this guy, engineering books is accessible to that guy. Exactly similar way, this identification called object is also mentioning which function you can access, which function you cannot access. Okay, so private function cannot be accessed by object, and non-private functions can be accessed by private that object. So object is like an instance of a class which is actually allocating the memory to all the members and also provides accessibility level. Private means no access, non-private means access. Why I said non-private? I could have written public also directly here, because private and public is not the only thing. We have more things called protected, called internal. They are also being accessed. That's why I said non-private. Okay. Later on, we will see protected and other stuff. But first, today's focus is private versus public, step by step. Okay. One time, if encapsulation entered into your mind, it's a big chapter. At least 2 to 3 classes it will take, I'm sure. It's a big chapter. Okay. Encapsulation. Lot of things are there. So encapsulation, you understood correctly, means other features are easy actually. Inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, life will be easy because maximum features is covered in encapsulation only in OOPS concept. So I don't want to be hurry, because this chapter, if you understood correctly, other chapter, if I will move fast also, you will understand, no issue. So it is explaining all private, public, protected, internal, you know, call with function, call without function, using static word, not using static word, using constructor. Many things are there. So systematically, let's proceed. All right. So let's now have a look to this program and have a question answer round. Any confusion anywhere, please ask me. I am ready to clarify you before proceeding to next knowledge or next option to understand. No, Rajan? Same only. Usually in Java we say method, in C sharp we say function. Same only, same only, same only. Only in different language differently they say. Okay. Actually, layman's language is data. Okay. But a programmer language may be variable, may be field, may be property, like that. Yeah. Method, function, procedure, subroutine. In various language, various way they say, but all are same only. So everybody understood what is the importance of security, that is C versus C++. Everybody understood how to create a class to group together related data and related functionality. Everybody understood how to access public member, how to not access private member. Everybody understood how to directly access public, indirectly access private members. So these are 4 question marks. If you understood properly, then good to go to next level. Not necessary, but answer is yes, you can have. Yes, yes. Okay, so now, absolutely. Absolutely, you are absolutely 100% right. Okay, always I wrote member na. Member means it is applicable to variable also, it is applicable to function also. Okay, so that means the moment I made public function, it is accessible. Similarly, the moment I will make public variable, that is also accessible, no problem. If I will make it public, this emp name directly I can use there like obj emp.emp name. Can you see? So let me press enter here and I will say, hey, my obj emp name I want to modify. So obj emp dot emp name, can you see, equal to, I want to modify it to something else. Absolutely fine. But same thing now I cannot do it for employee ID. Let me try. Same thing I cannot do it for employee ID. It is saying that you cannot access, it is a private member. Its protection level is very high. You cannot change somebody's employee ID, but if necessary, you made a mistake. Abhijit is the actual name, but you wrote spelling mistake, you can change it. Okay, possible if you make it public. So that means definition is applicable for both variable as well as functions. Good question. Yeah, correct. Display function. Mhm. Mhm. Then you will not use this coding because that is what you are doing, right? Huh. So these two are in the same class only, na? Possible. Possible. Like we will go to that. In fact, uh, going forward, additional topics are there like inheritance, all that. There we will create another file only. No problem. Possible. Answer is yes, it is possible. Not necessarily it has to be inside the same file only. It can be in another file also. Possible. Internal. For class, it is internal. For variable and functions, it is private. Internal, I have not yet explained you what is internal, so I didn't say that. But yeah, quick answer is internal for class and public, sorry, private for variables and functions. That means if I will not use this private here also, same only, it will understand private only, it will not allow me to call that. Okay, if I will uncomment it now, it will say no, you don't have access. Okay, so mentioning private, not mentioning private, both are same. Similarly in class, mentioning internal or not mentioning internal, both are same, but I want to tell that after explaining what is internal. Okay, so let's proceed to next level. 1 minute. Yeah, 10 minutes more we can spend. I hope all of you remember weekends we are having 1.5 hour class. Okay. Um, Now what I want is, I want initialization of the data directly. I will not ask user to enter the data. Okay. Sometimes you might have seen in our previous program also. Sometimes you do like this, na? Integer roll number equal to directly 101. Similarly, in string name directly equal to something you give, right? That is called inline initialization. Okay, where you declare, there only you initialize. Whether it is allowed by C# object-oriented programming or not, that is one question mark. That means I don't want to ask user to enter. I will comment this line, suppose. Okay, I will comment this line. Rather, directly I will give some value. Possible, na? Here directly I can give 101 and directly can give here Sumit or something. Is it okay? Absolutely fine. No problem at all. I want to make you a point. But what is the demerit here? Who can say? Previously, I was asking user to enter. Now I directly gave. One demerit is very clear. This will not ask user to enter. It will directly take it. We don't have freedom to tell some other name or some other employee ID. That is one demerit. First demerit. Second demerit is, if there are 5 different people, I want to create 5 different objects. What is there? OBJMP1, OBJMP2, OBJMP3. Don't you think all 5 objects will have same data, same employee ID and same employee name? Don't you think so? So these are two demerits by direct initialization. So quick answer is possible or not. If somebody will ask, I will say yes, if it is possible. It is possible, just like our general programming. But definitely demerit is there. So let me write a point here. Note 1, direct initialization. Something about direct initialization, or it is also called inline initialization. Technically possible, but we lose freedom to provide different information to different objects. Have a look in Excel sheet, you can understand better. We have one object called OBJMP1. This is for first guy. We have another object called OBJMP2. This one I will name it as OBJMP2. Maybe this one is belong to some other guy, this blue color. Here also I have all this stuff. One more copy. Here also I have all those stuff, one more copy, because this guy whose employee ID I want as 101 and this guy I want employee ID as 102. That will not be possible if you directly initialize it, because whichever object you create, it will come up to that line and it is a 101 Sumit only. That's why it's not a good idea. But when somebody asks technically possible or not, I will say yes, it is possible. So let me delete this. You understood that technically it is feasible, but if you create 4 objects also, all 4 objects will get same employee ID and same employee name, because you are not asking user. Na? This is common sense, not only object-oriented programming level. In C language also, if you are asking directly giving the value, it will be every time same only. Just a point to be noted, that's it. Okay. Now, then you will say, sir, then this is only good every time you take this. Okay. I'm okay with that. But thing is, unless you call this function cannot be called. Does it make any sense? I called this function because it is a public. Suppose both are public and user is calling display function, but he forgot to call first function. Technically possible, but it's a human error, don't you think? Step by step understand, guys. Actually, I have some intention to explain you called constructor. That's why I'm making the base problem part. I'm explaining first now to understand what is the need of constructor. Slowly I'm going towards that. So first I said directly initializing, if I'm doing, is the demerit. You understood demerit of direct initialization? Now I'm making you understand initializing the value by asking user to enter through a function. It's good. I'm able to call both the functions and I'm able to accept the data from user and able to display also. No issue. But this is a strong dependency. Unless you call the function number one called accept employee data, you cannot call function called display employee data. So, because if directly call, that time what will be the data actually? It will display blank only, no? Employee ID is blank or zero, name is blank, simply like that. Because then perhaps value has not been entered. Nobody called it. You will say, sir, it is common sense. If I will not accept the data, how can I display the data? Whether it is having a dependency or not having, but it is common sense. I have to accept, then only I have to display. Now question arises, can I accept the data directly here in this line called line number 9? I don't want this function at all. So that user will not have any human error. The moment I created the object, I want this coding to fire. Then you need something called constructor. See how I'm using it. I will have a constructor like this, employee. Constructor name is always same as class name, guys. Public employee, open bracket, close bracket, and curly bracket, open and close. It's like a function only. Only difference is function can have any name, but constructor will always have class name. Now what I will do, same coding, what I was using inside this function, I will put it here. I'll put it here. Because our intention is to ask user to enter the data, right? I'll put it here. Now you see, you don't have any dependency now, because the moment object will be created in line number 9, not only memory will be allocated, but also data will be allocated. So next point, note number 2. You are accepting the data through a function, then you are bound to call it before displaying it. Otherwise, memory must have been allocated, but data or information might not have initiated. This is the called problem part. Now going for the solution part. Solution for above problem is, we accept data in constructor instead of a dependent function, or I will say function, ultimately dependent, because before that we will not get the data. So solution for above problem is, if we accept data in constructor or inside constructor instead of inside function, Then the moment you create the object, the data will be automatically accepted. That means human mistake to call display function before data initialization can be avoided. So always in object oriented programming system, data initialization is done through constructor. If you refer book or anything, they will say use constructor for data initialization. Everybody will say, but we discuss about why part. We have two more way, right? Without using constructor, I have two more ways. One is directly give the data employee ID equal to 101, employee name equal to something. That demerit we got also. Another way is initialize or accept the data inside the function. That demerit also we got. So three ways of initializing the data. One is directly, the moment you declare it. One is through a function, and one is through a constructor. This is called constructor. So all three you saw. Now see how through constructor we are initializing the data, and whether in this line itself I will not only get the memory allocation, but also I will get the information inside OBJMP. Let's see that. I will press some enter here just to focus in this line number 9. So constructor will be directly called here, guys, automatically. So put a breakpoint here. That means if it is a function, you have to call it manually. If it is a constructor, no need to call. The moment you create the object, automatically it will go there. Have a look. It can. Line number 9 itself, it jumped to line number 29. That means suddenly during creation of the object, not only allocation of the memory, but also it took the responsibility of whichever guy, whatever his name, and so on. So after that display employee data, that is different story. It will come here and display. If you have both are public, directly also you can call it. If you have in private, then indirectly you can call it. That's fine. So I came to here and I displayed output as your name is Amit and your employee ID is 101. Now I have freedom of creating any number of objects. Have a look. Let me make it private, because most of times you will have private function as well as public function both. So for example, I want to take both kind of functionality. So the moment I will make, okay, otherwise what I will do, this one I will make it private and this one I will make it public, just to differentiate, and directly I will call this function here itself. So whichever is public, you can call that function directly. Then what I will do, this time, sorry, not here, inside main program I'm talking about. Already we have called it. All right. So we have one constructor and we have one function. Now I commented accept employee data because I don't want to depend upon that function always before calling any other function. Now they are fully independent. I created an object in program class called OBJMP1, and that guy has different employee ID and different employee name. Similarly, I will call I will create one more object called employee obj2 or obj employee 2. And for this guy, I want to give different employee ID and different employee name. Have a look how it is behaving. If you want to give a line break, you can just give your console.writeLine /n means 2 line gap it will give just for making some gap between first employee and second employee. So I don't have any dependency on the function called accept employee data. I don't have any sequence understanding that hey, unless you call this function, you cannot call that function. Those things absolutely I don't have now. Completely I'm independent of any dependency. The moment I create an object, data will automatically initialize along with the memory initialization. Okay, so let me write that point here also. Since we have a constructor, 2 minutes more I will take. Since we have a constructor, so the data will be initialized, accepted automatically in this line. That means indirectly saying constructor will be called automatically in this line. So no dependency on any function. One human being cannot do that mistake that before initialization of the data, suddenly I call the display employee data. But in function case, somebody can do that mistake. He will say, hey, by mistake I called display employee data first. After that I called accept employee data. That creates scope to have mistake. But now we don't have any scope to do mistake also. Not only that, every employee can have different employee data, different employee name, etc. So let's run it now by putting a breakpoint here. So obj emp1 is a different memory allocation unit and obj emp2 is a different allocation memory unit. As of now it is null. See what is happening. As of now it is null. Now it will visit to constructor. Then it will ask employee data, employee name, etc. So I said 111 and I said AAA, F10, F10, F10. Display that guy's detail also. No problem. Then I said F10 again. As of now, OBJMP1 is already containing the data. Not only memory allocation, but also data. But my OBJMP2 doesn't have anything. Now the moment I press F10, it will go there and it will say the employee ID. I said, okay. Second guy's employee ID is 102. Name. Okay. Second guy's name is maybe something called this. F10, F10, F10. So if you take the mouse to OBJMP1, this is not disturbing. First guy's name is still AAA and 111. Second guy's employee ID is 102 and so on. That means two different memory allocation, two different information. Not only that, we are not dependent upon any function. It will not call, it will not allocate, not like that. The moment object will be created, automatically constructor will be called. That means between function accept employee data and constructor called employee, nothing much difference. Almost both are doing same work only. What your constructor is doing, same your accept employee data is doing also. Only difference is accept employee data need to be called manually, but employee constructor not necessary to call manually, it will automatically call. So human error will never happen that I didn't call the function, I missed the data. It will automatically call the constructor. Okay. So can you see first guy is having first data, second guy is having second data. Sorry, I didn't use obj2, that's why still obj1 data is giving. Here can you see I forgot to use obj2, that's why obj1 data only was giving. Now it is perfect. So use console.read key so that you don't need to have. So breakpoint and all not required now. I'll remove this breakpoint. Simply I'll continue. It'll ask me first employee data. I said 101. AAA. Second employee data. I said 102. And BBB. Absolutely, I'm fine to keep the track of various employee using same class but various object of that class. That means like in Excel sheet, how I created two blue color line area. Now this become OBJMP1, which is having first employee data, OBJMP2, which is having second employee data. So similarity between function and constructor is both can be used for accepting the data. Both can be used for initializing the data. Dissimilarity is constructor not necessary to call manually. It will automatically will be called when the object will be created. That's why human error will be very less to miss the call of the function. But if you are doing the same thing using a separate function, don't forget to call that function in order to initialize the data. So functional understanding is this. Now, if you will ask me what is the definition of the constructor, because this time we are actually discussing about constructor only. So more about constructor. So if you'll ask me what is definition, then definition is like this. Constructor is like a member function. That's why I compared it with accept employee data. Constructor is like a member function that helps to initialize data to various members or fields. Generally we say fields also. Data to fields or data members automatically the moment object is created. Read this line. Constructor is like a member function. There is some similarity. Member function is function only. When it is inside a class, it is called member function. That helps to initialize the data. We understood? Here, it is helping to initialize the data. Enter employee ID, employee name. These are all accepting, initializing, both are same. Okay. Data members automatically. This automatically word is not available for this function. That's why we avoided this function. To initialize, we used a constructor. Okay, the moment object is created, it will be called automatically. One more point I must say here. It should have same name as class name and never returns any data. Not even need to mention void. So in function usually you say na, sometimes integer, sometimes decimal, nothing is there means at least void. But here it never returns any data. That's why not even necessary to mention void also. That 2 points, some special points I mentioned, but definition is first line. So constructor is used for initializing the data. Why I took so much time? Because in one line I could have told, hey, for initializing data, use a constructor over. But there are three different ways. I could have directly given here. I could have used a function to give it here. Or I could have used for constructor. But why should I use constructor to initialize the data? Why not a function? The constructor and function, why not directly? So to answer all these three questions, I took this much time to come up to this level. So conceptually you should clear because anytime anybody may confuse you in interviews also. So you should be ready for those also. That why I will not directly initialize here, why I will not use a function to initialize that, why should I use a constructor to initialize that? All right. So anybody has any confusion now on constructor? So two things we saw: private versus public we saw inside a class, and what is constructor, how to initialize the data in constructor we saw. Any question?